What is happening, guys? I'm Dan. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into Lagunitas beer, some of my favorite beer. It's going to be the Willettized Coffee Stout aged in rye oak barrels. The 2022 version of this beer, so this happens to be one of my favorite bourbon barrel aged stouts of all time, especially the price, availability, whatever, man. It's like 13 bucks for a 6-pack of this. So good. Clocking in at 13.1%. And a disclaimer. If you're watching this review, it means I already tried to review this one, which was a 2020. It wasn't good. I have so many outtakes of beers that never panned out for me. Can't get that to focus. I'm not going to. The 2020 wasn't good. It smelled good up front. It ended up not being very good tasting. It was just like, it was just oxidized. It bums me out, guys. So we're going to go to the 2022. I'm hoping this one's better. If you saw this review or you're watching it right now, it means it's actually a good beer, or it's somewhat decent. So let's get into this one. Willett. I love Willett. I feel like that bourbon is finally coming to Michigan this year. I'm so thrilled. Or this next year. I can't wait. So Willettized from Lagunitas. I think this is when the Chicago location was still open. I think they have now closed, which is such a bummer. So they're all coming from Petaluma, California now. Let's get a pour. A little bit softer than the Bourbon County, right? Even though this is 13.1, has a little bit less viscosity to it, a little bit more brown to it. And there is some head retention, which I did not get on the last one. I don't know if that's a good or bad sign. This has been down in my cellar, which actually wasn't even my cellar. It was just on this top shelf for the last couple of years. I don't know if this is going to pan out, but there is head retention. Not sure if that matters or not. The last one did not have it, but it looks good. Still midnight oil. Still nice creaminess on the head. I'm surprised by this. Petaluma, California, and Chicago, Illinois. So you won't see that anymore. It's not Chicago. At least, not anymore. So let's get a nose. So I still get some peppery rye barrel. Like a Serrano jalapeno. Little dry pepper. Some black pepper, some dark chocolates, a little bit of espresso in there still. So this would be 2, 4. It's only a little over 2 years aged, so it's not terrible. But there's still some nice coffee notes hanging on. A lot of dry roast. Like the Bourbon Counties are a lot sweeter. This comes off way more dry, way more roasty, way less sweetness. And I feel like there's still just a nice bit of that peppery barrel still in this. But it matters how it tastes, guys, so we'll see. Is this going to be good? If the review stays online, it's going to be a sign. I could make a full video on all the outtakes I've done on beers that sucked. Let's hope this doesn't suck. Cheers. Not bad. Not bad, but it's not great. So I feel like this is starting to oxidize a little bit. It's very dry. Super roasty. Like there is such a bitterness coming off of these dark chocolates as well. And it's bone dry compared to the Bourbon County brand stout, which I did have earlier, just little sips of it. This comes across so much less rich. So much more dark chocolate, so much more roast, so much more woody, dry, peppery barrel. And that's what that rye barrel is, man. I love Willettized. This is one of the best beers, man. I mean, if you like roast, if you like just a downer at 13.1 without being like too stinging, that's what this is bringing, because you know what? This aged pretty gracefully. The barrel's not hot. It's integrated itself into a little bit of this like campfire smoky, like very leathery tobacco. I know maybe that gets overused with stouts, but this is the definition of roasty and dry. This is the definition of campfire, kind of like smoky leather. But there's like a little hint of like licorice and slight dark fruit, maybe a touch of raisin, but it's very chilled out. It's very mellow, and this beer really is a dry roast bomb. It's so dry. But with all that being said, it's very drinkable. This is completely mellowed out. Again, the barrel's very subdued. Dark chocolate bitterness, not an ounce of richness to this beer. It is so dry. And still, slight bit of that espresso coffee, a little bit of that cocoa dust, cocoa powder. It's it's not bad. It's not bad. I think I like these fresh, though. That's the one thing I've learned about aging beers. There's only been a couple bourbon counties I've been really impressed with over the years where I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I aged it. This one, I'm not like super thrilled that I aged it. I feel like it had a little bit more richness and decadence to it originally. I feel like I want a little bit more of the rye barrel, which I do enjoy as a bourbon drinker. And I feel like it's just gotten a little bit dry and lackluster in what it could be compared to its fresh counterpart. So is this good? Yes, I still love these beers, but I feel like I still prefer these fresh. A little bit of dry licorice. There's a little bit of barrel in there. It's not bad. It's good enough to review it, guys. I will tell you that, but I don't advise you to age some of these. I just feel like it loses some of its character, but this one today, it did age decently well. I think I wish I would have kept it in the refrigerator. It would have held on to a little bit more of the originality of the beer. But that's okay. I still like this beer. I'm going to go with a 4.2 out of 5. I would think if it was fresh and I got a little bit more of its original characteristics, it's closer to a 4.5 or even higher. But that's where I stand today with 2 years and a little bit extra of age on this beer. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Cheers. Prost. Yamas. We'll see you on the next one.